Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your daily dose of EOS. My name is Jack Wells. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Jack Wells, and you could find me on Telegram as Blue Baleno. And if you're interested in watching application reviews or DApp reviews, you can hit up my YouTube channel, which is given there in the short URL bit.ly/Jack Wells. So let's get right into it, just by taking a look at the top cryptocurrencies. So we have Bitcoin doing a little bit dip of 0.57%, and having EOS gaining a little bit at 0.71% increase. Following up the momentum we've been seeing for the last few days, bringing the price of 1 EOS to $5.30 and the total market cap to $4.8 billion. So the nice little upward motions there, keeping its place solidly in the 5th place. And on the token side, we have a few extra new tokens being listed into the ecosystem. 7 being one of them, another one being ZKS, which we'll get into in just a bit. But before we get into that, deeper into the ecosystem, I want to cover a few pieces of general news regarding EOS, which is one, China has once again ranked EOS as the #1 blockchain. So we go down a little bit here, you can see the list, and you can see the criteria they use to score the ranking. And the 3 different criteria they're using is basic technology, applicability, creativity, and that will give the total score for EOS is 150, putting it just above Ethereum at 136. Interesting thing to note here is that they have ranked the technology behind EOS as better than the one in Ethereum, which is a surprise because the common perception is that the Ethereum has better technology than EOS, given all the research and all the very heavy intellectual credentials people in that ecosystem have. So that is quite interesting. And we have a little bit of news coming out from the next web from the hard fork series about blockchains. So Consensys commissioned a firm to do a research on EOS, and the result of that research is that EOS is not a blockchain. It's a glorified cloud computing service. So obviously, if you don't know, Consensys is the company that is doing a lot of the works to push Ethereum forward as the de facto blockchain for business and banking. So there is a bit of bias there, but it was the article is a little bit difficult to even wrap it up. They basically dismiss EOS as even being considered a blockchain, and they say that the performance of EOS is way lower than what Block.one has claimed it to be. In this research, they say that EOS could only reach about 250 transactions per second, and that it doesn't really use cryptography to verify transactions, which both claims are patently false. So it is interesting to hear this news coming out, and credit has to be given to the Next Web in pointing that out, that Consensys have a stake in keeping Ethereum as the de facto blockchain, and maybe putting down EOS as a potential option for their clients. So if you are interested in reading more of this article, which I suggest you do, it is actually quite an interesting read, and you can actually RSVP to a live streaming of their testing of a clone of EOS. So that'll be interesting to see. Okay, well, moving on away from that, we have the RAM price, which is holding steady around 0.96 EOS per kilobyte. Kind of not moving too much up or down. You have a little bit of movement there, but not much going on. And this just means that not too many things are happening in terms of user count, in terms of new RAM demanding applications being coming online. So the price has been quite steady. So speaking of dApps, let's get into the new dApps that were listed. So one of the new tokens that were listed is 7, and 7 is a dice game, much like every other dice game on the platform. It has a pretty nice user interface. The website is actually currently down right now, which I can't show you the game and how it looks. Yeah, so it's they're currently under maintenance, but the token has been doing pretty well. It seems like a legitimate enough project. The Telegram group is quite responsive, and their Telegram group only consists of a announcement group. I have reached out to the individuals behind the project, and they have gotten back to me, but they haven't answered my question regarding to interview. So I'll update you on that if anything changes, but that's EOS 7 for now. So just if you're interested in investing in the project, just stay tuned, I guess, until they have more information and you actually communicate with them. That would be my recommendation. Moving on to other new tokens being listed, we have something called ZKS, and this is a very interesting project coming out from the people you might or might not recognize. So let me just scroll down a bit. We have Michael Gucci is a medical doctor apparently, and then we have Nathan Redham. So if you don't know Nathan, he is part of the Generous EOS. So he is part of the Australian BP, and I have met him in person. He seems to be he seems to know what he's talking about, so it seems to be a legitimate project for me. And then of course we also have Johan from EOS Go, excuse me. So this is it seems to be a pretty legitimate project. At least the people behind the project is very legitimate. The only thing is, this is a project for you to it's a service for CPU and net resources. So every ZKS token you have, you can redeem it for 0.9 EOS worth of CPU and 0.1 EOS worth of net resource for 3 hours. This is a pretty saturated market already. We already have Bank of Stake. We have a few other ones, CPU Emergency, which gives you a bit of a free CPU if you're in a bit of need. And of course we have Shintai, which is probably the biggest and I would argue the best project handling the resource problem right now. And you could get a you get a pretty good deal on the resources, just 0.5%. So if I want 100 EOS worth of CPU and I pay 0.5 interest, I only have to pay 0.5 EOS for 100 EOS. So I don't know how ZKS plans to compete with that, because since they're only providing the CPU for 3 hours versus Shintai, which is up to 28 days a month. So yeah, I don't know what the business logic behind it is, but we will have to see. And of course we have Block.1 coming up with Rex, which is the resource management token that they have been talking about, and they say they are close to they're in the testing phase, so it's just a matter of months before the release. So I'm not sure if that's the best time to release a project like that, but anyways, in other token news, I have just claimed my first dividend from MEV. MEV, if you don't know, is the My EOS Vegas token. I had about 3,000 tokens when I went to claim my dividend, which entitled me to about 2.5 EOS. So that was it was quite a nice return. I mean, I got the tokens from the My Vegas people for free. When I did the video review, they really liked it, so they sent me a few tokens, and actually bought a little bit more after that. I sold a little bit, then I bought back a little bit more, and I think it's a pretty nice project. I like what they're doing. If you haven't seen the video I did with them, please check it out on my YouTube channel. You can see it is all there, and I think that's it. So oh right, I'm still waiting to hear back from the Whale Exchange CEO. So again, I have heard back from him. He's going through the interview questions I have sent him. So if you're interested in hearing me doing interview with any of these new dApps coming up, please leave a comment, and I'll try to reach out to them so we could have that interview. Anyways, that's me, and this is your daily dose of EOS, and I'll see you tomorrow.